Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Amy controls Thornwind Fairies, which is equipped with Basilisk Collar. She uses its ability to deal 1 damage to Nick's grizzly bears. In response, Nick uses Eaten by Spiders against Amy's creature to destroy Thornwind Fairies and Basilisk Collar. What happens? I really like this question because there's a lot of different rules concepts going on with it. The first thing that we're going to need is this rule here, which says that once activated, Thornwind Fairy's ability exists independently of its source. That means that even though Thornwind Fairies has been destroyed, the ability will continue to resolve just like normal. It's also got this clause in there that says that even though Thornwind Fairies is not on the battlefield anymore, it still is able to deal 1 damage to the thing that it was targeting. I'm not really sure what the flavor justification is for this, but that's how it works. Now, this has a couple of really interesting consequences when it comes time to physically deal the damage. For example, the game doesn't know what Thornwind Fairies looks like anymore. It's not on the battlefield. So, it will use its last known information, in other words, what Thornwind Fairies looked like the last time that it was on the battlefield, in order to see any types of characteristics that this damage might have. This could come up, for example, if something cares about what color the source was, or whether it was damage that was dealt by a specific type of creature, or, as is the case here, whether the thing that's dealing the damage had lifelink or death touch. So, Eaten by Spiders destroys both the equipment and the creature in 1 game action. You can tell because it only uses the word destroy 1 time. That means that both of them are destroyed at once. What that means is that the last time Thornwind Fairies was on the battlefield, it will have had lifelink and death touch because Basilisk Collar was equipped to it. Therefore, the 1 damage that's dealt by Thornwind Fairies, even after Thornwind Fairies has been put into the graveyard, will be treated as though the source had lifelink, so Amy will gain 1 life, and death touch, so grizzly bears will die. Pretty cool how that works, huh? Now, let's take a look at a very similar situation. Everything's exactly the same, except Nick doesn't have Eaten by Spiders this time. He's going to have Blastfire Bolt. Now, let's see if we can see any differences in how this situation plays out. Everything about the first part of this question is going to work out exactly the same. So Thornwind Fairies, even though it's dead by the time the ability resolves, is still able to deal that 1 damage. And we're going to look at the last known information for Thornwind Fairies to see what kind of characteristics that damage has. Now, here's where things get different from the first situation. Blastfire Bolt doesn't destroy both Thornwind Fairies and the equipment at the same time, the way Eaten by Spiders did. Recall from our episode about Tarmogoyf and Lightning Bolt that lethally damaged creatures don't get put into the graveyard right away. Rather, what happens is the damage gets marked on the creature, and then the next time the game checks for state-based actions, there's a state-based action that destroys all the creatures that have lethal damage on them. This means that Blastfire Bolt is going to work a little bit differently from Eaten by Spiders in this regard. What'll happen is, first, the Basilisk Collar will be destroyed, because the Blastfire Bolt actually does destroy the equipment, just the same as Eaten by Spiders. However, the Eaten by Spiders destroyed the creature at the same time, whereas Blastfire Bolt just puts damage on it. That damage doesn't destroy Thornwind Fairies right away. Rather, Thornwind Fairies is not destroyed until after Blastfire Bolt has finished resolving and the game is checking for state-based actions. At that time, Thornwind Fairies will be destroyed. Now, that means the last time Thornwind Fairies was on the battlefield, it did not have lifelink or death touch because there was no equipment attached to it at that point. This means that the 1 damage it deals is just normal, everyday, boring damage, and Amy won't gain any life, and the grizzly bears won't be destroyed because of it. Pretty cool how such a small, subtle difference can lead to such a big change in the results, huh? And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.